Oh, we're losing people. Don't stress. Don't stress. They're not walking out. They're just waiting for guests. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Women's Day. Looking at all the women here. Clearly your husbands or boyfriends didn't make coffee for you. You had to come to Bryanston for coffee. So that's fine. I'm happy to produce the coffee and the tea to get you here. So welcome to DuePoint. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live broadcast. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending about the next 45 minutes with you as we go through what our business is all about, who we are, what the opportunity is all about, and then after the presentation you are very welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of a company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. We were founded in 1952. We've been around for a very long time. Those are Constantia's offices in the background, the orange logo that they use. The FSP number is that one that you see up on screen. That's very important. That's our financial services provider license number. We've got a number of financial licenses, so you'll notice them framed on the wall just above the water cooler in our foyer. You can find them on our website. We've got a long and short-term insurance license. We've got an investment license, and then, of course, our FSP license. We've also got our accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations up on display. For us, trust and credibility are of the utmost importance here at DuePoint. You might not have heard of the company Constantia. Constantia has typically never dealt with consumers in its last 70 years. They've only dealt with financial service providers. And at the same time, DuePoint doesn't do any marketing or advertising. So it is important for us that you trust the business we're going to be speaking about. So you're very welcome to go do a background check on us. Go do what you need to do. We are listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a group called Conduit Capital. But for us to create any partnership, there has to be trust involved. So do what you need to do. The managers and executives are these people up on screen. So the first three people are registered chartered accountants on the far left there, starting with Brendan Benfield. He's our senior executive. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. His father is a man who has had a lot of success in the insurance space. I assume that Brendan and his brother Stuart kind of learnt a lot of what they know today from their father. Their father started Clientele Life all those many years ago, one of the biggest insurance companies to date, still in South Africa. They started the IFA. They have started and still have businesses in Europe that are running. They've found businesses in Australia based on financial services. So there's some wonderful financial pedigree in the Benfields. Very lucky to have Ben heading up this division. Then we've got Tim and Stacey. They look after all the auditing, the accounting requirements, a lot of the regulatory requirements of our business, also very important stuff. And then the two non-accountants are Jane and myself. So Jane's here this morning with me. You would have noticed her. She's got a strange accent because she's not from South Africa. She's from Yorkshire in the UK. She's very experienced in direct selling, network marketing, referral marketing. She's from the UK, as I said, and she brings that international experience to our business because even though we're an insurance company, we're not a network marketing company. We're an insurance company. The marketing model that we've adopted is a network marketing remuneration model that we've adopted, and that experience is very important to us. And then myself, I've been working in advertising for over 20 years, 25 years. Jeez, I got an invitation to my 25-year school reunion. I nearly fell off my chair. Time has gone that fast. I'm still alive, right? So I've worked in advertising. I ran a digital agency for about 15 years, fairly successfully. We operated very much in the financial space, did a lot of work for the big banks in South Africa. So I'm fairly well versed in the financial space. But that's our senior team. We've got our client service team. We've got admin staff. But our mandate, so the mandate of all the staff here at DuePoint is to support everybody that decides to join us here. And everything that we do, the amount of money we've invested in technology, everything is geared to support you so that you are effective as wealth engineers in this business. We want to see people happy and profitable in our business because it serves our interests as a business too, collectively. All right, so that's a bit of background on the business and the people. Very quickly, I don't have to labor too much on the slide. Basically, in the past, we used to really talk about the personal finance position that people find themselves in South Africa. But I imagine that everyone sitting here knows exactly what kind of pain they're going through from a personal finance point of view. What our business is really about is about wealth creation. And that wealth creation should be seen as to be a very attractive proposition, because what it does is it mitigates the risk that a lot of people are facing in South Africa. So we've got a job market where we've got 10 million people unemployed. That figure might still be rising. We've got very high inflation. Salaries are not keeping up with the cost of living with inflation. Right? So over the last 8 years, inflation has been 4.5%. The average increase in salary is 2%. Now that's year on year for 8 years. So your salary is way more devalued today than what it was comparatively 7, 8 years ago. And we are all feeling it, right? And you never get into a point where you say, okay, well, I can start focusing on wealth creation, because you're just trying to keep your head above water. But often people only jump into action once they face crisis. Right? And I'm hoping that people, yeah, you might be in crisis or not, but I'm hoping people here are a little more prepared when they meet crisis, when someone in your family gets retrenched, or when you realize that your retirement plan was heavily invested in Steinhoff and you've got to suddenly make a plan, right? And really what this business is about is mitigating that risk that we're all facing. Out of the circumstance that we find ourselves in, Constantia saw the opportunity to create this business that gives opportunity to the average South African. We launched the DuePoint system in February 2016 with a number of aspirations in mind. We don't see this business as purely an income opportunity, right? That is very singular. This business is about wealth creation, and what's required when we focus on wealth creation is actually a paradigm shift. We need to shift people's thinking around money and wealth creation, because if it was only an income opportunity, then you would still be making the same mistakes. And I find myself, I know this, in the last 25 years, I make the same mistakes. I think like a consumer instead of someone who's there to build wealth. And one of the primary aspirations we have for people in our business and the language that we speak is get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. You don't have to take 20 years to pay a bond off. You don't have to take 5 years to pay a car off. You don't have to sit in that revolving credit on your credit card for the rest of your life. Get rid of it. Because once you get rid of the debt in your life, it empowers you to create wealth. And you can only create wealth through the ownership of assets that hopefully appreciate. And that can be property, it'll be DuePoint, be a number of things. But you can only get to that point once you start getting rid of your debt. And then the final aspiration, the third aspiration that we have for people in the business is just to be happier. Right? Who wants to be stressed in December and January? Or when someone gets retrenched? Or when your boss says, sorry, the industry's not doing well, no raises for everybody. It's the list's endless, right? The list of excuses is endless. The people in this room, the people watching us on the live stream, I'm hoping that you want an opportunity that allows you to take control over your income. Take control of it for yourself. Don't be at the receiving end of all the other circumstances that we find ourselves in. So those are the aspirations we have for people in our business. How does this business work? You have the opportunity as a guest this afternoon to join this company called DuePoint. You enter into a contract with us. We refer to you as wealth engineers, because that's what we do here. And as wealth engineers, you have a single task, and that is to build a channel of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like shortly, but it is basically you just going out and connecting other people to DuePoint. That's all you have to do. Go out and tell people about DuePoint. Brendan and myself will do the rest of the work. If we are successful in that process, if you can connect people to us that ultimately become wealth engineers and product owners, that leads to a host of benefits for you. Number one, you get to create additional income. The nature of the income is fairly important to note. We call it recurring income. Some people will refer to it as passive income or annuity income. I love my father's reference to it. I don't know if he stole it from that very rich guy in America, but he calls it making money while you're sleeping. If you can get into business that allows you to make money while you're sleeping, he actually warned me of this when I was still in high school. I ran a business that was very much a trade-related business. We had designers, programmers, salespeople in my company, and we were a month-to-month business. Right? We started at zero at the beginning of every month. My father's a gold miner, very similarly, also active income only. At gold mining, you start at zero at the end of every month. You've got to dig up enough gold to make your costs and hopefully profit every year. Our country even is criticized for not investing enough in annuity income. Right? We call it primary resources that we sell. So South Africa sells all these raw materials. We never beneficiate the materials, right? And even as a country, we're criticized for this. Insurance companies, an inherent benefit is that they create recurring income. this channel of distribution that you're building is the asset that pays you out income. And so you can spend time building your channel of distribution in August 2018 that can still be paying you in 5 years' time for work you did in August 2018. That is the benefit of building an asset. You get to harness the power of duplication, so this is leverage. It's your opportunity to go out and find good people to put in your channel. Because if you find resourceful people that you can put into your channel, they will help. They will collaborate with you in building your own channel, and you get to enjoy that leverage that exists. So if you're putting, let's say, for example, an hour of work into this business a week, and you go find 10 other people that are also putting in an hour a week, suddenly you've got 11 hours being invested into your channel of distribution. So that's leverage. I'll show that to you with actual wealth engineers. Our business, flexi time, you can do this business whenever you want. From your home, from the office, your business runs on your mobile app on your phone, right? Business in your pocket, any time of the day, anywhere in the country. You are not constrained at all. There's no startup capital. We don't have boxes of product that you have to invest in. We're not going to ask you for lump sums of money. There's no registration fees. There's no starter kits. We have designed this business to have a low barrier to entry. It's probably the lowest barrier to entry into financial services that you will get in South Africa. At the moment, to get involved in financial services in South Africa, it's probably the highest barrier to entry, mostly because of all the regulation, right? You don't have to worry about any of that regulation. No qualifications or experience required either. Again, we're making the business as accessible as possible. You get to build an asset. So this channel of distribution that you're building is treated as a legal asset that you have legal tender over. So that means if you build up a channel of distribution that's creating a recurring income of, let's say, 5,000 Rand a month, you are free to sell that business, right? Because it's an asset. The business, more importantly, keeps paying you beyond retirement. 95% of South Africans are going to get to retirement and their income ends abruptly, right? And the same statistic shows that those people become financially dependent instead of financially independent because they haven't done enough in the 40 years to secure a dignified retirement. This business will pay you into your 60s, into your 70s, into your 80s, and just like any other asset, when you die, that asset doesn't disappear. That value, that wealth doesn't disappear. You can cede that on to your beneficiaries, your spouse, your children. Be one of the few South Africans that actually passes wealth on to your children, right, instead of debt. There's no selling involved in our business, so this is not something that you have to worry about at all. There is absolutely zero requirement that you do any selling. You don't even have to speak about our products at DuePoint. Let Brendan and myself speak about the products on stage, right? That's how we exclude you from all the regulatory issues that we have in our business. And at the same time, our products are financial in nature. It means we don't have stock and distribution issues. Did anyone bring their bakkie today thinking they're going home with boxes of product? No, financial services, so much easier, right? All of that gets taken care of by banking systems, financial systems, our back-end systems. You don't have to worry about it at all. And so that is a great convenience. But your success here at DuePoint is certainly predicated on your ability to build a channel of distribution. Remember, I said that's your single focus, building a channel of distribution. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer and product owner, and now you go out and connect other people to this business. If you're successful, and in this example, you've got 5 people that decided to become wealth engineers. You might have spoken to 15 people, 5 of which you said, yes, I want to become a wealth engineer, and they become product owners, and that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. Your channel will take on a life of its own from that point on. Because the people that you connected to the business want to build their own channels, right? And what they're doing is, in turn, they're helping you build your channel. But a very discerning moment is this moment here. Which people are you going to introduce to DuePoint? Do we introduce desperate, needy people? Right? And there's lots of need in South Africa. Do we introduce desperate, needy people onto the first point? Or do we introduce resourceful people that can thrive on their own as wealth engineers? The latter. Because if you choose the former, if you bring the desperate, needy people in, you will build a weak channel that will collapse all the time. If you bring in strong people at the beginning, you build a strong, sustainable channel, one that can stand on its own. And that is my aspiration for people in this business, that after a couple of years of hard work, you have a channel that is making recurring income on its own. I've got a frog in my throat. So that is what a channel of distribution looks like. Let me have a sip of water before I have a coughing fit. My warning to everyone is we are not a get-rich-quick scheme. Perfectly nothing wrong with people arriving at this presentation with that fear, because there have been hundreds of businesses that were exactly that. Lots of opportunities in South Africa that are illegitimate, that are typical get-rich-quick schemes. We are not one of those businesses. We're a 70-year-old insurance company that has decided to extend an entrepreneurial opportunity to members of the public. At the same time, we never promise anyone that they can get rich quickly. You will never hear those words from Brendan or myself. If you are willing to take the time to build wealth slowly, this is the business for you. It does not exist in life. Becoming wealthy overnight does not exist. You've got to win the lotto. The odds on lotto are 20 million to 1, right? You're more likely to get hit by lightning twice before you win the lotto. So bet on the slow and steady business rather, right? It's a lot safer. There's no lightning here at DuePoint. Okay, so that's my warning to everybody. Be prepared for hard work. It is hard work. It's not easy. Okay, but it's worth it at the end. I always ask my wealth engineers, after they've been in the business for 6 months, a year, 2 years, has it been worth it to you? Right? That's what I want to understand. So let's discuss our financial products. We've got 4 products here at DuePoint for you to consider. You're free to consider one or all 4 products. That's a personal decision that you're going to make. Our first product is called Access Wealth. Access Wealth is our investment product. It's going to cost you 324 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund. So we take full advantage of the tax-free legislation that exists for savings and investment products in South Africa. You can push that 100 Rand up to 2,500 Rand if you want to, but it starts at 100 Rand on the 324, and we give you a little bit of personal accident cover with this investment to the value of 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover with your investment product. So this is Access Wealth. You can call it our investment product. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is a personal accident insurance product. So it's only insurance. It's going to cost you 249 Rand, but this time you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. This cover does not cover illnesses, death through illness or natural causes. This product only covers you in death through accident. But the beauty of Wealth Guard is that it's not discriminatory against anybody. So regardless of your age, as long as you're over the age of 18, doesn't matter what your health status is either, you can take out this product. The premium remains unchanged, and the million Rand cover that you receive remains unchanged. So this product really becomes accessible to everybody. The third product is our new funeral cover product. So it's called Family Wealth. It starts at 299 Rand a month, and you get 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover. It covers up to 5 family members. We also give you 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So if you have debt with anyone, we will pay that up to 10,000 Rand. And then the beauty again is the accessibility of this product. So you can see there, no excluded pre-existing conditions. You can be 60 years old. You can have a heart condition. You can be diabetic. You can still take out this product. The premium remains the same. And you still get the same amount of cover. And then you can bump this cover up to 30,000 Rand and 10 family members. So wonderful product, unique, very innovative. I don't think there's a product like this in South Africa yet. And then our final product is called Wealth Points. Wealth Points is designed to save you money. It's designed to lower your cost of living expenses every month. So it's going to cost you 299 Rand a month, and you get to enjoy the discounts that we've negotiated with the list of partners that you see there. So we've tried to get pretty much every aspect of spending covered under this product. We've got a data partner, we've got groceries, we've got online retailers, we've got car manufacturers, Eagle Ford, Jaguar, Land Rover, we've got health and beauty, we've got through the entertainer, restaurants and hotels. So you are able to enjoy discounts through this product immediately. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, this is a great product to have, Wealth Points. If you have any questions around the products, come speak to me. If you want an in-depth review on each of the products, go to our YouTube channel. There's about a 30-minute video on each product, and you get to really dig deep into those products. But they are designed to be straightforward, right? These are not complicated products. All right, very quickly, our business model. So there's one thing that separates us from most financial service providers. That's our remuneration model, or our marketing model, should I say. Traditional insurance companies spend an absolute fortune on marketing and advertising every month. It's a large portion of their budget. At DuePoint, we don't spend a cent on marketing or advertising. All right? You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of this building. And that allows us to depend on members of the public who become wealth engineers and help us grow this business. So we don't have to spend the billions on marketing and advertising. We can take that portion of our budget and attribute it to what we call our returns and rewards program, and that is to the benefit of you guys, to the benefit of our wealth engineers, and that is how you earn here at DuePoint. So the first and the primary way to earn is the returns program. The returns program is that extra paycheck at the end of every single month, right? We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every single product that is in your channel, right? So remember the slide with all the dots on, what your channel could look like. Imagine earning R27.50 for every single dot on that slide every single month going forward, right? That's basically how it works, but it's dependent on where the product lies in relation to you. So the first 5 people you introduce to DuePoint, that product lies on your first point, right? Because it's 1 point away from you. And you earn 55 Rand. So we pay you actually double the R27.50 for every product on your first point, as well as your second point. So when those people that you introduced go out and introduce other people, that product lies on your second point. So this is where the power of duplication comes into this remuneration model. And this is something that you certainly want to leverage. And as your channel starts to grow all the way out to the 8th point, you see that multiplier starts to drop all the way down to 4%. But we don't limit you at 0.8. So we've got wealth engineers in the space of 24 months. They've got channels beyond 0.30 already. There's no limitation on the size of your channel. There's no limitation on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. It all comes down to how much work you're willing to put in. It's time and numbers, right? You need the time for your channel to grow. Your numbers is all the stuff you're putting in your first point. That's what you can control, but the rest is time. So this is the mechanics of the returns program. The next question often is, well, how much money can I be earning? When will I be rich in this business? Is this going to be worth my time? Right? That's what people want to know. And so we built a projection over the next 5 years. So if you don't have a 5-year plan, I'm about to give you a 5-year plan. It is based on an assumption that in your first month you can connect 3 people successfully onto your first point. And every month thereafter, for the next 5 years, you can connect 2 people every month, right? So that's the assumption that we make. That's the premise. If you can follow that, a little bit of duplication in your business, you should be reaching about 2,500 Rand after 6 months. Now, who gets excited about 2,500 Rand? Who wants 2,500 Rand right now? It's a Women's Day special. I've put 2,500 Rand under everybody's chair today. No one would say no to that, right? But that's not the reality. This requires 6 months' work. And sometimes, as a person involved in marketing and advertising, I get worried about people's perceptions. I think, are they going to be attracted to our business model if we're saying 2,500 Rand after 6 months of work? What can 2,500 Rand buy you today? And that's the mistake we make all the time, is that we give the value of money spending value, right? And that's typically how consumers think. And economies are made up of consumers, unfortunately, the bulk of us. Someone who's focused on wealth creation doesn't look at the 2,500 Rand and go, I can't buy much with that. They look at how can I make more money up the 2,500 Rand, right? There is more value in that money than just what it is at face value. And here's an illustration of it. Here's someone with a 1 million Rand bond, right? They financed the property through a bank. The bank agreed to give them a bond. The bond contract is probably 20 years, typically with most of us. And at Prime plus 2, you're paying about 11,500 Rand a month for 20 years to pay that house back, right? To pay that property back. But you join DuePoint, and 6 months later, after some good work, you're earning 2,500 Rand. And you remember Rob saying their first aspiration in the business is get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. And so you decide, okay, I'll take that 2,500 Rand. Instead of spending it, I'll put it into my bond. So now I'm only putting in an extra 20% into my bond every month. What does that result in? It results in you being able to pay this house off in not 20 years, but 11 and a half years. You have nearly halved the term of your bond. It has saved you in interest charges, nearly 1 million Rand in interest repayments that you would have made if you just paid the bond off for 20 years. Get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. It is the same as investing money. Do you know that the principle's the same? Some people go, oh no, I don't have extra money to invest. pay your debt off faster. It's the same principle, right? At month 12, you're earning in excess of 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income. So I often ask people, connect with the fact that you could be getting 100,000 Rand extra every year. Think about December, maybe even more. January. January is when we feel more pain, isn't it? Think about January and 100,000 Rand check every January. How does your life change? It will, certainly for most of us. At month 24, you are now close to 30,000 Rand. You see how quickly that jumped? That is because of leverage, of power duplication. Make sure you bring strong people into your business on your first point. We keep going. At month 36, you're close to 50,000 Rand a month. Here at month 30, I've got a nice example of paying off your debt faster. At month 30, you're earning about 36,000 Rand. On a 5 million Rand bond, if you decide to put that 36,000 Rand into your bond, you'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. Right, so I get excited by that, even though I'm not allowed to be a wealth engineer. I think if I can get to that point and put extra money into my bond and pay it off in 7 years, then I can start investing. I can invest in property. I buy another 5 million Rand house and pay that off in the next 7 years. And in 21 years, I've paid off 3 houses. So I'm 40 at the moment. I know I look like I'm in my 20s, but I'm 40. But in 21 years, at the age of 61, I could have paid off 3 houses to the value of 5 million Rand each. Right? And then when I'm ready to retire, not that anyone's ready to retire, you get pushed into retirement. I go home to a house I paid off 14 years ago. I've got 2 other properties, 2 other assets that are bringing in property income, 60,000, 70,000 Rand a month. Right? That is the retirement that we have to plan for. It is very easy, especially for someone like me, to take that 36,000 Rand and rather go buy a nice car. Can't even say buy, finance a nice car for 36,000 Rand. You can get one of those big Range Rovers for about 36,000 Rand a month. Wouldn't you like a Range Rover rather than paying a house off? You see the dilemma I have? This is the dilemma I have all the time with myself. Fortunately, I've got a wife that knocks sense into me every now and again. At 48 months, you're close to 70,000 Rand a month. And after 5 years, so 1 year after the Qatar Soccer World Cup, let's make it real. 1 year after the Soccer World Cup, right? You could be earning about 1 million Rand extra in annual recurring income. Throw that 100,000 Rand check away and come pick up a 1 million Rand check every year. Do you believe that's even possible for you? I'm very interested in people's belief systems. I've become a student of it since I've joined DuePoint. You don't have to become fixated on the 1 million Rand. What you have to become fixated on is the next 6 months. Right? If you can get to 2,500 Rand after 6 months, you are on the road to earning 1 million Rand a year in 5 years' time. Unfortunately, statistically, majority of the people quit this business after 3 months. For whatever reason, right? It's easy to come up with reasons. You have to persist in this business. But this example is only academic. It's theoretical. It's a formula, right? Complicated formula, because we take into consideration all the negative aspects, people not paying, people not building, right? And it still gets to that number. But we've got people in this business that have been around, some for a couple of months, some for a couple of years. And we love to invite people up onto stage. Not only the superstars. We don't invite only the superstars onto stage. We invite everybody onto stage. People that have shown the tenacity. That's what we want. People that are tenacious. The people that persist. The people that show endurance. Those are the ones we bring onto stage. Whether they are performing well or not. Right? Because endurance is always the key thing. So we've got Andries Lottering. He's been in the business for 23 months. The value of his channel is sitting at 3,500 Rand. We've paid him to date in total nearly 23,000 Rand. He's introduced over the last 23 months 15 people on his first point. But it's translated to 91 products in his channel. So there's a demonstration of the leverage, the power duplication, right? And the unique story with regards to Andries is that he's got a health condition that doesn't allow him to leave home. He has to be at home all the time, right? And yet he's been able to build this business and this recurring income nonetheless. For people that don't appreciate the value of money, from an investment point of view, you think, 3,500 Rand, what can that buy you? Is that really worth 2 years' worth of work? To have the equivalent amount of money paid to you from your retirement fund one day when you retire, you would need 834,000 Rand saved in your retirement fund. Only then will that retirement fund pay you at 5% interest 3,500 rand. We need to think differently about the value of money. Petrus, I think he's also from Kempton. He joined 10 months ago, so he's following 3 plus 2 quite closely at the time. At the moment, he's on 4,500 rand with regards to his current channel value. He's introduced 14 people to the business. That's translated to 121 products in his channel. He's really got 5 points open. So he's following 3 plus 2 quite nicely. And then we've got Casper and Madeleine. They've got quite an interesting story too. They joined 2 years ago. Casper was the primary wealth engineer in the business. He was the one putting in all the effort in the beginning. That's usually how it goes. The husband or the wife come in, and then only once one of the spouses have proved that the business is not a scheme, then the other spouse decides to get involved, right? So their current channel value is sitting at 8,000 a month. We've paid Casper and Madeleine nearly 40,000 in the last 2 years, and look how many first pointers they got in. 8! So when I see Casper, I say, Casper, you need to work harder. 8 people in 2 years. Nonetheless, that's translated because he was good. He found some very good people that he brought into the business. It translated to 665 people in his channel, or products in his channel at least. He has got a lot of value that he can unlock. That 8,000 rand should be double. It should be double, but he's got to put more effort in on his first point. Right? Everybody is different. With thousands of people joining this business every single month. And they're all different. And you go up, and then you go down, and you go up, and you go down a little bit. And for me, like I said earlier, I'm always interested in the people that endure. Because Casper went through a patch where we didn't see him for 6 months. And he could have quit, but he didn't. He wasn't very active, but he didn't quit. Right? And now his business is starting to climb again, and now he's excited, and now his wife's getting involved. Endurance is the most important characteristic of a wealth engineer. And I want you to decide what you want out of this business. Because everyone's running a different race. Don't look at the people running a different race. Decide what you want. Because you have to keep yourself accountable to what you have to do in this business to get to what you want out of this business. And so the decision for me really is not so much what you want. It's more about how do you fit DuePoint into your life. Have you realized that I'm up here actually proposing stealing your free time? That's really what I'm proposing. I want your free time. You can go spend 8 hours of work every single day. That's fine. That pays the bills. But your free time, sitting on the couch, watching TV, watching sport, spending time with the family, I want some of that for both our benefits. And that's what I'm proposing. And for me, more practically, that's the decision that you have to make. If you can be comfortable with that decision, the rest is easy. But decide what you want. Joining is very easy. So becoming a wealth engineer is actually a non-event because it's really just an online application. It takes 7 minutes. You become a wealth engineer. You get sent a unique wealth engineer number and your password to access the mobile app and the website. Read the code of conduct. It defines, more importantly, what you cannot do. And then apply yourself to this business. You now have this asset that you have ownership over. What is it going to look like in 10 years from now? Where do you want to be in 10 years? You know how fast time goes. I can't remember if I told you guys or the audience before that I got my invite to my 25-year school reunion. Right? Time flies. I can't believe it. 25 years out of school. Should at least be a billionaire by now, right? That's what I was thinking when I was in high school. Where do you want to be? Where do you want this business asset to be in 5 years' time? Apply yourself. Go watch the training. It's like 6 hours of training. It's not going to take you long. Set goals for yourself. Put a deadline. Write it down. Put it on the fridge. Prepare a plan. We can help you prepare the plan because the plan always comes down to how many people do I have to speak to? That's what this entire business gets distilled down to. How many people are you prepared to speak to a month? Whether or not they say yes or no. That is stuff you cannot control. So don't worry about it. You can't keep yourself accountable to the people saying yes or no. To the people that build or don't build. Keep yourself accountable to how many people are you willing to talk to and connect to this business on a monthly basis. That is the single most important metric here at DuePoint, right? Get the merchandise. So the merchandise just lends to your credibility. If someone sits down with DuePoint business cards, a notebook, a pen, maybe a pin on their lapel, it speaks to their belief in the business that they are there trying to convince you to join. trust the advertising guy. This is some free tips that I'm giving you. If you sit down with nothing, there's nothing that says DuePoint about you. What do you think that person thinks about you in terms of your belief in that business or system? Get the merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. Get the business cards. For me, business cards are probably the most important. It might seem old-fashioned. Everyone's WhatsApping and everything. It's all about credibility. The credibility builds trust. And no transaction ever happens without trust. Never. So get the business cards. We can send them anywhere in the country. You get 500 of those beautiful business cards. Join our Facebook page. If you want your finger on the pulse in this business, the Facebook page is the platform to go to, because we produce content daily for that Facebook platform. And then YouTube, we've got all our training videos, all the testimonies, all the long videos are on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel because it tells you every time that camera gets turned on. That camera broadcasts globally 8 times a week? Yeah, 8 times a week, live. Don't you feel sorry for me? I'm up here saying the same thing. I'm probably given my 300th presentation already. It's been the same for 2 years. Right? But it is your opportunity to build your business outside of the town that you live in, because anyone can access this opportunity regardless of where they are in the country. Make sure you download the mobile app for Android and Apple devices, because that is your business in your pocket. That little app will tell you exactly what's happening in your business. More importantly, whether you're making money while you're sleeping. Right? Our XP rewards program. So this is the cherry on top in the business. All right? This is where everything's a little more tactile, the rewards, because you can connect to these a little more easily. So what happens is, if you have success at DuePoint, you have an active wealth engineer, you will enjoy rewards along the way, on top of that returns that you're making for yourself every month. It works like this. If you start out today, you will be a rank 0 wealth engineer, so you're not even on the screen. But to get onto the screen, to get to rank 1, you need 1,000 XP. We give you XP for everything that you do as a wealth engineer. Logging into your app, coming to presentations, doing home presentations, prospecting guests, all of that you get XP for. So 1,000 XP takes you about 60 seconds. 4 products in your qualified channel. You meet those 2 criteria, you become a rank 1 wealth engineer, and you get a once-off, not recurring, unfortunately, just a once-off 55 Rand, so that you can go buy cake and celebrate the road to wealth here at DuePoint. So I might be facetious in a moment, but in all sincerity, if you can get to rank 1 in this business, you can get to any rank. Why do I say that? Because the rank 20s are doing exactly the same thing the rank 1s are doing every day. And what is that? Just talking to people. They've just been doing it longer. That's the only difference, right? And so as you start to rank up, you collect more XP, your channel grows, the rewards get bigger. There are big checks waiting for you, 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help empower them in their channel building, fancy little things that plug into any device, all our collateral on there. Then you get really fancy business cards at rank 7. These are business cards that cost us just over 20,000 Rand to manufacture for a single set. But if we get 2 wealth engineers at rank 7 at the same time, then they give us a little bit of discount. So we say 2 rank wealth engineers have to rank up at the same time. So we can only spend 12,500 Rand per set of cards. So you get 1,000 of these cards, and they are absolutely magnificent cards. If any of you want to see them, you can see them in the merchandise cabinet. They are 4 times thicker than any other card. They actually bond 4 normal boards of paper together. There's no ink on these cards. The edges are gilded in gold like they used to do with the old Bibles. The logo's foiled in gold. Your credibility is through the roof with one of these babies at a meeting, right? And that is at rank 7. At rank 9 is our first recurring reward. So this is one everyone gets excited about, and rightfully so, because at rank 9, every single year for our rank 9s and above, we take them and their families to our rank 9 international conference. It's business class flights there and back to a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip. All expenses paid trip. We had the kids last time raiding the bar fridges, because you know in the hotels you never touch the bar fridge, right? You get to the hotel, you say to the kids, you don't touch the bar fridge, because a chocolate is like 100 Rand in the bar fridge. The bar fridge, you can clean it out every single day. They will restock it for you every single morning, right? It is a holiday that will make you understand what feeling like a multi-millionaire feels like. In all honesty, the rooms are at least 25,000 Rand per room per night on this trip. this is a taste of what's to come for you. When you get to rank 9, you know that this is a holiday you'll be able to pay for yourself in 5, 10, 15 years' time, right? And that's why we do it. So take a look. This is our last trip. You might recognize some of the wealth engineers. This is the resort we went to last year. We've got a new resort that we booked for this year.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that is the international conference that awaits you on your journey as a DuePoint Wealth Engineer. We are currently running a campaign called the Road to Rank 9 on our Facebook page. So go check that out. If you participate in that, there are 10 wealth engineers that stand to win 2,000 Rand each. Rank 9 is around the corner for us. We've already booked the resort. We've booked the business class flights out. I'm not sure who's coming. Hopefully we'll have a couple of new faces this year with our Rank 9 trip. At rank 11, we spend 250,000 Rand buying our wealth engineer a brand new car. All expenses paid for cash, in your name, no terms and conditions. You get to drive it off our parking lot with a bit of fanfare. That's already happened. So if you're one of those people that want to get to rank 11 in 2 years, you can certainly make it happen. We had one wealth engineer that went to rank 9 in 5 months. He opened his laptop one morning, saw DuePoint. 5 months later, he was ranked 9, earning 20,000 Rand a month. Right? It is up to you. The table is set up. I've put everything that's on offer on the table. You need to decide what you want to come get off the table. I don't dictate to anyone what they get and what they're not allowed to get. And that is really the decision. I think in our economy at the moment, I mean, things have really gotten worse. We get a lot of statistics from the Financial Services Board that shows us how many people are paying their rent, people that are paying for all kinds of things. And the number is getting worse and worse and worse. People are struggling more and more and more. And as I said earlier, people only really jump into action when they meet crisis. When we start finding circumstances getting tougher, that is not a time to suddenly stand back. It's not the time to stand back. It is the time to bear down and push harder. And I want you to come push and put energy into a business like this. So I invite our guests this morning to come join this business called DuePoint and see how it goes for you. At least give us that opportunity. Like I said, the barrier to entry in this business is very low. You're not going to be asked for loads of money in this business. It is a very low-risk business opportunity. What it does is it affords you the opportunity to try this business out. And do that if you're skeptical. Some of the people are already sold. They're like, where do I join, right? I'm talking to the skeptics now, the people thinking, should I do this, shouldn't I do this? Try the business. I often say to some of the skeptics, just give us 30 days. Give us 30 days, you tell people, whether they say yes or no, you tell people, 30 people in 30 days, I guarantee you'll be wealthier next month than you were last month. Guaranteed, right? You have to decide whether it's worth it for you. I don't want you to think of, is it worth it from a consumer point of view? Because that's what has landed us in the trouble already. Think about the leverage that recurring income affords you in the long run. That is where the value in this business lies. If you have any questions, come speak to me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Women's Day. The woman, go home, make sure the husband and the boyfriend does something for you today. Just one thing. One thing is enough, right? Have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions, come speak to me, and I hope that you can make the rest of 2018 make some difference there, that you have a good December. Everyone else is going to be complaining on Facebook about what a horrible year it was. Be one of those people that say it was great. Good luck.